Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vigraha Kalam Digvijaye Kvachit Nirpalingam Dharam Shidram Anjantam Gomitunam Bhagat. Once, when Maharaj Parikshit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali Yuga, who was lower than his figure, disguised as a king and herding the legs of a cow and bull. The king at once caught hold of him to deal severe punishment. Purport. The purpose of a king who's going out to conquer the world is not for self-aggrandizement. Maharaj went out to conquer the world after his ascendance to the throne, but this was not for the purpose of aggression of other states. He was the emperor of the world, and all small states were already under his regime. His purpose in going out was to see how things were going in terms of the godly state. King, being the representative of the Lord, has to execute the will of the Lord duly. No question of self-aggrandizement. Thus, as soon as Maharaj Parikshit saw the low-class men in the dress of a king was herding the legs of a cow and a bull, at once he arrested and punished him. The king cannot tolerate insults to the most important animal, the cow, nor can he tolerate disrespect for the most important man, the Brahman. Human civilization means to advance the cause of Brahminical culture, and to maintain it, cannot protection is essential. There is a miracle in milk. It contains all necessary vitamins to sustain human physiological conditions for higher achievements. Brahminical culture can advance only when man is educated in developing the quality of goodness. And with this, there is a prime necessity of food prepared with milk, fruits, and grains. Maharaj Parikshit was astonished to see that a black Sudra dressed like a ruler was mistreating a cow, the most important animal in human society. The HH Kali means mismanagement and quarrel, and the root cause of all mismanagement and quarrel is that worthless men, the modes of lower class men, who have no higher ambition in life, come to the helm of the state management. Such men, at the post of the king, are sure to first herd the cow in the Brahminical culture, therefore pushing all society towards hell. Maharaj Parikshit, trained as he was, got the scent of this root cause of the quarrel of the world. Thus, he wanted to stop it in the very beginning. Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Jan. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharini Nirvisesa Sunyavani Pasyatya Nevisitamine Vanchakota Turubhischa Viva Sindhuve Vacha Hitanam Pavane Yo Vaishnava Yo Namaho Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare Rama Hare
Rama Rama Hare.
So we're hearing the actual responsible and duties of one who is ruling the state. He is the protector and maintainer of the citizens. He also, in the role of his position, makes sure that the citizens get everything they need in order to live happily and to move forward towards the goal of life, which is to go back to the spiritual world, to achieve perfection, self-realization. These are the responsibilities of a leader of society. Um, Here we are seeing the symptoms of this present age which we have entered into, and this is called the age of Kali. In the age of Kali, everything becomes topsy-turvy, and therefore the most important people in society become the most abused. And these two are the Brahmins and or the saintly people and the cows. The saintly people are minimized, they're pushed to the side, they have nothing to do with anything important as far as seeing that the society goes on in a proper way. And the cow simply is seen as an economic adventure for a few people to capitalize and make great amounts of profit by opening up slaughterhouses. And therefore, people wonder today, why are so many problems in the world? You see, if you pay a little attention to the media, there are always people, or just in general, there's always so much anxiety and so many suggestions how to improve life in the world. But all of their suggestions, ideas, and concerns are useless because they haven't established the fundamental principle of which by which real society flourishes, and that is giving protection to the cows and elevating those in Brahminical culture, saintly country, to the status of importance, where they can contribute to the direction and welfare of society. The king is simply an instrument for the saintly class who give the ideas, the vision, and the direction by which the ruling class, we call them kshatriyas, or administrators, heads of state, are meant to deal with society. But in this age of Kali, people have pushed out these most important people, the cows and the Brahmins. It says that when society fails as a principle to give protection to 5 types of people, that society will eventually undergo so much difficulty, and especially the leaders will have to suffer, and everyone will have to suffer. And those 5 types of people are women, children, old people, cows, and brahmanas. Um, this is actual society. It's not just one place in the world where life develops. This is meant for the entire human society because it says that Brahminical culture establishes the foundation by which religious principles are given priority and people make advancement towards the ultimate goal of life. It's also the principle of the mode of goodness by which people can live free from the anxiety that comes by way of the hard struggle of living in the material world, and also the direction people need to carry on their different affairs, such as running the family and taking care of occupation. Dominical culture is the foundation, and it contains the knowledge by which these things are established. Cows are the economic base for society. They're also the spiritual principles by which uh, human culture develops. The cow, especially its ingredients, of course, the Prabhupada mentions milk, but that's just one, and of course, the most important of all the contributions that the cow gives to human society. Because it says that milk alone uh, supplies for those who take it regularly in what we say proportion, higher brain tissues or finer brain tissues, or where one can recognize and understand spiritual matters. So milk is very important for that. It also nourishes the body. It's also sometimes called the miracle food for babies and old men, especially for those two categories of people, the people who are young and very old. Milk is a necessity for maintaining life very nicely. For the young, it's for developing the strength, vitality, fortitude, and knowledge in life. And for the old, it helps to prevent them from suffering in old age. It gives nourishment to the body even in old age. Of course, the milk that we produce now in the world is simply not milk. It's some kind of, it's more like white liquid. It's polluted. They take the cow and they rape the cow for as much milk as they can get within the first few years of the cow's production of milk. And in the 5 years, the cow is useless. They sell it to the slaughterhouse. And then this is how society treats the most important animal. Cow is also called Mataji, mother. There are, according to Vedic culture, which is human culture, there are 5 categories of mothers. One is the cow, 2 is your mother, 3 is the nurse, 4 is the wife of the head of the society, the wife of the Brahmana, the nurse, and Mother Earth. These are considered to be respectable personalities who nourish society and are fundamental principles for the development of human culture and human necessities. And they should be revered and respected. And that's why the term mother is there, because mother is an honorable term, which refers to a class of personalities who provide, nourish, and care for human society. But they rape the earth for as much minerals and resources they can. They destroy the earth by digging into the ground with various machines to get oil, to get all kinds of resources, to make things that people don't even need and sell in stores for high prices for some economic adventure. And so we have so many anomalies in the present day society. And then people wonder, why is there so many problems? The problem is you don't know how to live. That's the problem. They're always talking about, well, we got a solution for this problem, and we're going to solve this problem, and we got the plans for solving this problem. But it'll go on, and things will only deteriorate more and more because, one, cows are being killed unnecessarily and not cared for. 2, the Brahminical culture is not even a consideration. And 3, worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is optional for those who want to do it. Otherwise, none of these things are important. What's important is to get a job, make some money, enjoy sense gratification in different ways, and in this way live life. Eat, drink, be merry, and ultimately, end your life that way, and then you have a successful life. But the Bhagavatam explains that the common man, what does he do? He works hard all day to get some resources to maintain the family, comes home at night, he enjoys sex life with his wife, and then he goes to sleep, and then the next day he begins the cycle all over again. Bhagavatam says, this is simply the life of hogs and dogs. No better. That's why the Bhagavatam very strongly categorizes so-called human culture and humans in the category of animals, because they live just like animals. If one is living like an animal, then the category of animal applies. And you can't a human is not simply one who has a head, 2 legs, and 2 arms and walks in that way. Human culture means Brahminical culture and cow protection. And Brahminical culture cannot be established, and this is a very important point that devotees should understand. Brahminical culture cannot be established unless there is cow protection. Without cow care and cow protection, there is no question of Brahminical culture. And you'll see how Maharaj Parikshit knows this, and he's dealing with this anomaly that has appeared in his kingdom. He's a concerned leader. And when we'll go into it much deeper as this chapter unfolds, how he deals with this transgressor of human culture. And because of that, he is considered to be a person who is qualified to lead society. Qualified because he gives protection to all progeny. It's like Srila Prabhupada would mention often, and you'll see it, he'll mention it in this chapter a few times, that anyone born in the land of a particular country is considered a nationalist. That means the animals also, not just the humans. So they also have rights, and they have the right to life. God has given right to life for all living entities, and living entities are not meant to be exploited or misused by a certain section of the society simply for some economic gain, which ultimately is lost in due course of time. So we find ourselves in this chapter here is really, really interesting because it really reflects upon the present day society. Today we see people who are in political positions leading the world, all they talk about is, how we're going to make human society nice by providing more medical care, more education, less taxes, more of the necessities of life. But it's all just some rhetoric. They can't do it, even if they try to do it, but they don't try to do it because that's not their program. Their program is to somehow or other, as it says here, the word self-aggrandizement. Prabhupada uses the word at least 2 or 3 times in this particular point, that a leader is not about his own self-aggrandizement. A leader is about for the benefit. Just like a mother, her duty is to take care of the children. The father is to provide for the family. Everyone in society has a position to care for others according to that position. And that's how human society develops. And so the cow is caring for human society, providing food in the form of milk, which is very nutritious and healthy. It provides cow dung, which can be used for fuel, to heat your homes, and for cooking. It also walks on the field. The hooves of the cows, when they walk on the field, they actually cultivate and fertilize the field, which makes agricultural develop nicely. You don't need artificial fertilizers. Cows can do that automatically simply by their walking. I'm here in Ujjain. I was just walking among the cows today. We have 2 goshalas, one here there was 40 cows here, and in another place in the nearby area, which is also part of the same temple control. There's 85 cows. So they have about 140 cows actually altogether. And there's one particular cow, he's called a gear cow, and he has a huge hump on his back. That huge hump draws the sun rays into that hump, and that milk from the gear cows is called A2 milk, which is the highest and most nutritious milk on the planet. And if one can take that regularly, one will always be in a good condition of health. And that cow also is so beautiful to look at. And cows are very, very inclined to humans. They can work nicely with humans. Prabhupada also explains that in Vedic culture, every family would have domestic animals, and they use the example horses, elephants, cows. He said even dogs were there, but dogs were not so important. They were a less important animal, but they were still there. Cats also in human society. But in Western society today, mostly around the world, and even all around the world, the most important animal is a dog. So what does the dog do? The dog can provide protection, at least from outside enemies, from its owner. And so when someone comes into the area, the dog just starts to howl and warn that what are you doing in my area? So that's what a dog does. Otherwise, a dog doesn't do much for human society. Of course, we should take care of dogs as we take care with all living entities, but it's not elevated to the position of the most important animal because the cow provides so many things. Just like when recently in my travels, I was talking about this subject matter describing cows, and people who had lived in India prior, I was preaching in the United States, they were saying that in most families in India, people would have a cow. So the cow was actually considered a family member, not just an animal that was part of the family's use. It was considered to be just a member of the family. And the cow was so sentient and so perceptive that when people in the family would get sick, the cow would automatically know it. And when she would graze in her pasturing area, she would look for that herb that would heal that particular disease that that person got. She would eat that herb, and then they would take that milk and give it to the person, and that person would be healed. So milk is also a form of medicine, and the cow actually knows how to give milk to people who are sick for their return to normal health. So these are just a few of the benefits that cows also give. They're also used, the cow dung, cow urine is used for worship. Um, milk, ghee, um, yogurt, cow dung, and cow urine are called panchagavya, the five substances for the cow, and they're used to worship the deity. We actually take cow dung and cow urine and use it to perform abhishek upon the deity. Cow dung is so pure that it's actually put on the deity. Uh, Although it's the stool of a particular animal, that animal stool is actually considered to be amrita. And even now, we find that even human society have some understanding that in cow dung, many of the medicinal properties that people need to make various medicines are also found in cow dung. So there's an unlimited, I can go on all day describing the benefits of a cow. So, but what we see here is that this mistreating of the cow means the whole society will go to hell. The slaughter of cows is practically the most dangerous thing human society can engage in because no one will have any peace in that society. Forget it. As long as cows are being systematically slaughtered by the society and considered to be what we say acceptable, that society will eventually, as Prabhupada said, they'll go quicker and quicker down towards the hellish conditions of life. And of course, Brahminical culture, being guided by Shastra, by transcendental knowledge, by practical knowledge of the mode of goodness, society will have that guidance that they need from this class of people known as Brahmanas. They are the persons who come up with the ideas in how society should carry on. Their knowledge is coming from Shastra, from practical knowledge of experience in living in the world. So these two things, and of course, the ultimate principle is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to engage in devotional service. So these three factors, you'll read about them in this chapter, and especially in the next chapter, about how these three are the foundations of a developed human society. Because human life is the atato brahma jigyasa. The purpose of human life is self-realization. There's no second purpose. The second purposes are the plans we make in order to move forward in life towards the goal of life, which is self-realization. And therefore, the leader of society, he is meant to rule on behalf of the supreme ruler, the supreme personality of Godhead himself. So the king, the head of state, the leader of society is meant to be a representative of God. And if he doesn't follow that, you'll see today, we have practical experience. The leaders, they get in power, they stay for a few years according to their term, and then they're kicked out very soon. You study the history of Vedic culture. Kings ruled for hundreds of years, or at least, 70, 80 years. They stayed in power because they were leading people according to proper principles of human culture and spiritual knowledge. Well, now they get in there, they talk all kinds of nonsense and make all kinds of false promises. And then their most important thing is to get reelected. That's all, so they can continue with their position of exploiting the society. It's unfortunate. Once in a while, you find a good leader somewhere in the world during Kali Yuga, but they don't last long because then people in general or people who have power or positions in society see these people as a threat to their economic growth, and therefore they kick them out or they kill them, either one. This is how Kali Yuga is going on. And so here we're going to see how a saintly king such as Maharaj Pariksit, he's a young man. He has a beautiful family. He is a devotee of the Lord. He has all good quality. His state is unrivaled it says here, he did not go to conquer the world. Well, he didn't go out to conquer the world. He simply went out to see that everything was working nicely under his regime. So a king is concerned, and just like the parents, their most concern is their children. The king's most concern is the people he's ruling. And therefore, he must make all provisions and arrangements for people to follow the principles by which they can develop happiness and move forward in life towards self-realization. Therefore, we don't find that nowadays the leaders get elected by so-called votes. People don't know who to vote for. Some people want to vote for the people. They say, well, none of them are any good, so let me vote for the one who I think is the less bad. It's like voting for the one who will do the less amount of damage. But it goes on. It goes on in the name of society. And this is the feature of Kali Yuga. And as Kali Yuga progresses, and we'll see a more deterioration of human culture. You'll see it even now, how people are engaging in most abominable activities in the name of human development. I don't want to go into any of those because they're quite gruesome and quite horrible just to speak about. But it's obvious that people don't even know the basic human needs and the decency that is meant for a human society. And just like killing their own children in the womb, they say, well, yes, people, you can make your own choice whether you want to have a baby or not. Even some societies, they do this thing where they try to understand the gender of the baby before it's born. And people will say, oh, I don't want that gender. So they'll kill the baby in the womb and try for getting a different gender by having sex again. It's really abominable. at least in India, I know for sure, and in this country here, it's illegal for doctors or any kind of medical practitioners to examine women ahead of time and give the gender of the child ahead of time, because they want to stop this idea of killing ahead of time based on the idea of getting a particular gender as a child. And then, of course, sometimes people wantonly go into sex activity, and there's pregnancy. So they should think ahead of time that, yeah, if I'm going to engage in this activity, there's a chance that the wife or the lady will become pregnant. So let me refrain from that if I do not want a child. But they can't control their senses. And when the result is that they wind up killing the child and causing physical harm to the mother when she has to go through this abortion. So this is just one of the many deficiencies, anomalies in human culture at the present society. And Kali Yuga, if you read the 12th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, especially chapter number 3, all of the symptoms of the age of Kali are listed. And there's a whole long list of anomalies that are already happening in today's society because there's no leadership in the world. The leadership is simply interested, if they have any interest, they're interested in economic growth. That's the only thing that they're interested in. And that economic growth is not necessary, because if people know how to live, they can live very simply and spend more time for human culture, human development, and ultimately spiritual practice. And now people work so hard, 2, sometimes 3 jobs. They have 2 jobs. Sometimes they work a half a day in one job, a half a day in another job, and on a weekend they have another job. And some people have 2 jobs, and then they just want more and more money because they have more and more desires to enjoy material life. And therefore, they think money is the answer for happiness. So get as much money as you can, and somehow or other that will carry you through. But what it does, it saps the energy of human culture, and people are never happy simply working. Animals are meant to work hard, such as horses. They are meant to carry men from place to place. The bull is meant to plow the fields. The donkey is meant to carry big loads. So God has made animals, also given them their service for human culture. But now the humans they're killing the animals and taking the part of the animals and simply working hard for economic gain and some kind of very paltry form of sense gratification, which is the result of such work. And so the solution ultimately is, as this chapter and the next chapter will also give a very clear understanding of what is the solution. The foundation for that solution is cow protection, Brahminical culture. That means guided by saintly rule. And ultimately, the goal of human society should be to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, understand one's relationship with God, become purified from material contamination, and ultimately reach the goal of life, to go back home, back to the spiritual world. That is the purpose of human life. And human culture is geared as a foundation to bring about that result, not simply working hard for sense gratification, which is explained in the 2nd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. People are no better than animals because they work like animals and they live ultimately like the same animals. That is not human culture. Human culture is Atato Brahma Jigyasu. I'm going into the realization of who I am, what is the purpose of life, and how to achieve that purpose. That is all there in human society, real human society. So that is the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement. Krishna consciousness movement is not simply to open temples so people can come to the temple and pay some money so they can support some kind of worship. That is not the purpose. The purpose of the temples is to educate people in the science of God realization and also guide them in a practical way by which they can achieve that self-realization. Okay, so this is a very, you'll find this chapter quite interesting, how a saintly king deals with an anomaly in society. And as soon as he sees something that is outside of human benefit, human culture, God consciousness, he is very enthusiastic to remove it and allow people not to be affected by wrong types of activity or association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mark, for such a wonderful class. Really deep. Yes, you did. You said, as you said, it's going to be a few or many upcoming verses that's going to stress on this point. I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to request devotees if you could please show your videos wherever you're at, if you're able to do so. And I will call upon you if you have any questions, any comments. And we got our first question good 10 minutes ago, Mars. So it's from Rishabh Das. Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. Always assure Prabhupada and you, Gurudev. I was amazed by your statement. There is no Brahminical culture without cow protection. Can you please elaborate on this more if you find it appropriate? Your servant, Rishabh Das.
It's mentioned also in the purport. You can see it, and Prabhupada makes that point there. Yeah, because cows are actually the foundation for economic development, and at the same time, they are also providing the atmosphere by which Brahminical culture can develop. If you know, at least in a practical way, the benefits of the cow, you'll see that Brahminical culture centers around worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the cow is a very integral part of that, or that development, both the materially and the spiritual aspect. The cow is also considered to be the representative of all of the demigods. Lakshmi Devi, it says, exists within the dung of cows. She is the supreme personality who is the internal energy of Lord Narayan in the spiritual world. She is the goddess of fortune, who brings good fortune. Because of cow dung is actually, she resides within cow dung. I just mentioned a couple of small things that cows can actually provide. You have to understand that if you read the Bhagavatam, especially the first canto, and also in this particular section, but even in the earliest part, that steel mills, working like animals, working hard, and all of these cars, computers, big buildings, this is all a product of Kali Yuga for squeezing out the resources of human nature and squeezing the class of people to work hard in order to provide these things. The cow provides the economic backbone for society. And unless the economics and people's needs are actually taken care of, how can you practice spiritual life without any, what we say, interference? It cannot be practiced practically. We're practicing spiritual life now, and we can see we're in, but are we actually living according to Brahminical culture? We have some principles based on Shastra. We're worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we're guided by the scriptures. And it's going on. but you'll find that unless it gets established as a foundation, that is cow care, not only cow protection, but cow care means not just to protect the cows from being slaughtered, but to give the cow its life, allowing it to get everything it needs to live nicely and happily. And when the cows are happy, then human society will flourish. Otherwise, it'll never really develop beyond a certain point. Yeah, so that statement is there within this purport. You'll see it. If you refer to the purport, Prabhupada says that without cow protection, Brahminical culture doesn't develop. At least it won't develop as a foundation for society. A small sector of people who might be practicing Brahminical culture, and that is those who are engaged in spiritual activity. But what about the rest of human society? Human society is meant for 4 classes of people. Real human society is Varnashram Dharma. That's the foundation for human society. Without that foundation of human society, the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and Sudras, the Vaishyas are the ones that provide the care for the cows, which provide everything for human culture. Cows not only provide milk, cow dung, and many other things, but they also provide all of the necessities of life. The whole idea of human culture is food. Without proper food and the nourishment that comes from healthy food, society will always be unhealthy and will not grow beyond a certain point. That's the duty of the Vaishyas. And they are directed by the Kshatriyas, who are directed by the Brahminical culture. So all of these are interrelated. Each person, each sector of human society has a particular role to play, both in the Varnas and, of course, the ashramas there. So, as Prabhupada has said oftentimes, without establishing Varnashram, spiritual culture cannot develop properly, or in what we say, continuously. Therefore, Prabhupada's program for our ISKCON society was to establish Daivi Varnashram, that is spiritual Varnashram, that Varnashram that people work according to their characteristics and qualities, and at the same time provide service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to human society. So it's very much interrelated. And cows is the foundation for human culture. That's why it says that the 5 classes of people who require protection, women, children, old people, Brahmins, and cows, the 2 most important are the Brahmins and the cows. And then in the same verse, it goes on to say, out of the 2, the most important are the cows. So we just take cows for granted because we're so distant from cows. We don't see cows. We live in these big cities. And if you see a cow in the Western society, you have to go to farms. And usually the cows are mistreated on these farms anyway. So people have what we say marginalized, at least to, even that's the best we can possibly say, the cow, to a sector of society that it uses cows for simply exploitation. That's all. They see the animals in the world as being provided for people so they can get something from that, but not give nothing back. If your children, they're in your family and they're doing something in the family, and you simply you raise them so you can get something from them, and then when they can't provide anything else, then you kill them. That's the same thing we do to cows. That's and therefore, this killing of cows is a great offense upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Krishna himself is called Gopal. He's called the protector of the cows. He's called Govinda, the one who gives pleasure to the cows. His planet is called Goloka, the planet of the cows. Krishna appears in this world as a cowherd boy. not as some statesman who's looking for a position. Just study uh, Vedic culture, and you'll see how the fundamental principle of all life is centers around cows. That's Vedic culture. That's human culture. That's why we don't have human culture today, because and Brahminical culture cannot develop unless there is proper care of the cows and proper use of the cows also too, not just caring for them like you care for old people, you push them out into old age homes and you provide something for them to end their life. No, you have to use the cow also for what it's meant for.
Thank you, Marge, and hope that helped, Rishabh. Yes, he said it does make sense. Thank you. Very nice question, Rishabh Das Prabhu. Yes, Devi, go ahead.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, I get it. I get it. That cow, not just taking care of the cow, but seeing that she's actually happy and joyful is the only way for society to become happy, joyful, flourish, for our children to have good ahimsa milk and so on. So supposing, I mean, this is just a hypothesis. Supposing concerned devotees decide that I'm going to buy a plot of land and I'm going to keep a cow and I'm going to try my best to take care of her. Does that work like a single homestead trying to take care of cow, or it can only work in a setting where several devotees come together and do this? Can a single person, a single family adopt this lifestyle by buying some land and keep a cow?
It's being done already. But you have to understand what it means to provide what the cow needs. It says that every cow needs at least 1 acre of grazing area. So you have to have that. And you have to make sure she gets her feed all year round, not just when she's out in the pastures. You have to provide, for hay, for various types of food. But I was feeding the cows here today, and they were bringing out this. It was cabbage that is not eaten by human beings. It grows underground. It's called bulbs, bulbs, and it looks like some kind of green leafy uh, vegetable, and it's big. And we were just feeding it to the cows. So, if you have the farmland, you can grow these things and provide both for the animals and for the humans. So one family can do it if they know what they're doing and are willing to take care of that cow. But when you have community, it becomes much more natural and much more easily available to take care of cows and also to take care of the devotees within the community. So community is more or less the foundation by which it works ideally.
I get that. Now, land is at a premium. Every square inch of land is being consumed to make concrete jungles. So, if we have to have 1 acre per cow, you have to go to some faraway, uninhabited place where they're selling land, large tracts of land for an affordable sum of money. When land is being sold at like gold prices, then how can devotees do cow protection or agriculture when the land is so expensive?
It's being done in some places.
So basically, it means finding that kind of land.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
And the land's available.
Thank you, Devi. Marge, that is a question here from Manisha. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Maharaj. I want to know that can we eat the cheese and milk made by the company or not? Do we break the 4 regulative principles by eating cheese and milk prepared by these companies?
My god sister Vishwadika, she lives here in Mayapur. She's penned one book called Bhakti Milk, and in there's a lot of contributions from many, not only from senior devotees but from other experts, that that the cow is being mistreated by these commercial dairies, and they keep the cows and they cramped areas. They don't feed them properly. And then when the calf comes, they take the calf away so they can get more milk from the cow. So the cow is never happy in that environment. And it also knows, cow knows when it's going to be killed. So she lives in a type of a fear. That milk actually becomes harmful to human society because the cow secretes this enzyme based on her fear into the milk, which causes problems to people who drink the milk. That's why some people will say milk is healthy for you. It's not healthy if you mistreat the cow. Definitely. Let me see, back to the question. Yeah, so then these commercial dairies, then they get what they can from the cow and then they sell it to the slaughterhouse. And so that milk and that cheese made from that same milk is actually not, it's based on exploitation of the cow, not caring for the cow. So we avoid that just to make a statement. And that statement is that we will take care of cows and take only milk, cheese, and other things made from our farms. And that's the subject. You should get a copy of that book. It's called Bhakti Milk by Vishwadika. It's available. Let me just do a little research. You can find it. And she makes that point. And there's many other statements that support that we should, as a society, refrain from supporting these commercial dairies by buying their milk and milk products. I mean, to make that transition is not easy because our society hasn't really fully, although it's developed to some degree, established the farms where we can take care of our own cows and get our own milk products. Gita Nagari is doing it, and they're also selling milk to many temples around the world so the deities can have good milk, not around the world, but around America. India, just like in, I'm here in Ujjain, and we have a wonderful project here. So this morning I had some first-class milk from our cows. After I drank that milk, I was ready to go out the whole day and do service. I felt such energy. So yeah, we want to make a statement that we're not going to buy into the slaughterhouse program by buying milk or taking milk from commercial dairies. And so this is something that we're trying to even institute within our own society because devotees haven't reached that state yet as a society yet. We still buy into commercial dairies and butter, milk, cheese, and various other milk products are coming from commercial dairies. And even people who are not commercial dairies, who keep their own cows, but who eventually take the milk and the milk products, and at the end of the cow's life, when they see the cow is no longer useful, they sell it to these slaughterhouses or sell it to people who sell it to slaughterhouses. So the cow is not meant to be slaughtered. She is mother. She's meant to be cared for just like you care for your elderly people within society. Just like, of course, even now, that's not even being done. They want to kill the old people now in our society because they're useless. So and they've been doing that to the animals now. And now they want to do it to human beings also. Uh, Euthanasia. Old people are not producing anything. They're a burden on society. They just sit around, collect some money so they can live. And so they should be, they should be, gradually eliminated within society. There's a class of people who believe that and who are trying to institute that. So we live in a very horrible situation in the world today. There's no human values, no human culture, no human sensitivity. Everything centers around money, 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 money. So personally, just like I've been traveling and I wasn't able to get milk from our dairies for a couple of weeks, so I didn't take any milk. I was just refraining. Today I came to Ujjain. Today was the first day. So, and I waited until I could get it from our cows. So devotees have made statements. His Holiness Shiva Ram Maharaj says when he's home at his farm in New Vrajadam, he takes milk products. When he's on the road, he's a vegan. So Madatri, close your thing there. You're making too much noise. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So it's a statement against the horrors of how cows are being treated by refraining from supporting commercial dairies.
Thank you, Marge, and hope that question helped, that the answer helped you, Manisha. Thank you. Yes, Namrata, go ahead.
Thank you. Humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Guru Maharaj, here in this verse, it is said that Kali is, in this verse, it says that Kali is dressed like a king and he's coming like that. So in the same way, when we see leaders today, they are almost like that. So when being in the lower hierarchy, we are, when we choose our leader, it's like we are choosing demon or another demon. So what should be our take when we know that whoever we are choosing is going to be a demon?
How do we know who's a demon, who's not a demon?
Because today's leaders, they are like that.
Well, they're expert at hiding their demoniac tendencies in the name of providing for the people. Fortunately, you live in India. In India, you have a good ruler. And the head of India is actually a saintly person. He's trying to bring back Vedic culture. So India is actually in a good position. And but within India itself, there are other positions with people who are actually leaders, who are like what you say, and you can't recognize their particular motivations for being in that position. You usually learn about them after they get in and do their damage. And it becomes too late. But anyway, there should be that's why, unless you have cow protection and Brahminical culture, you'll always have these upstarts who will try to take the post of leaders within society. And therefore, you'll always have these anomalies, these problems.
So the root cause is improving the Brahminical culture and cow protection of cows. That's the only solution we have.
Yeah, you have to establish these two simultaneously. Brahmanical, that's what Krishna consciousness is about. This is what ISKCON is about. This is what we're trying to do. But first, we're trying to do it within our own society, and then we're trying to also inspire people outside to take up Krishna consciousness, to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then we're also, see, Prabhupada started off with Lord Chaitanya's movement of chanting, dancing, living according to scripture, or actually practicing worship according to scripture. Now the social system, which Prabhupada is still trying to institute through his disciples and followers, is the Varnashram system, Daivi Varnashram. And so that still needs to be established. That's why if you read my book, the book Krishna's Way, Natural Living, you'll find that this is the focus of that particular book, is to follow Srila Prabhupada's teachings on how to establish society. I've been getting many, I mean, not many, but a lot of quotes about Srila Prabhupada, how he wanted us to live as a society and not become dependent on this Western materialistic, soul-killing civilization. People are, look at people in the world. Everybody's sick. The hospitals are full of people. People are dying like crazy from all kinds of diseases. Why? Because people don't know how to live. They're living simply based on wrong understanding, given by wrong leadership. You go to, just like in America, for instance, 15,000 people a month die from the treatment that they receive from the doctors. You go to the doctor and he kills you. Haribo. This is a statistic. It is not a hidden, clandestine conspiracy statement. It's the Federal Drug Administration, the FDA in America, has made this statement. 15,000 people a month. This is happening in all major countries of the world. People are going to doctors and they're getting killed by the doctors. If you know how to take care of it, first, people don't know how to live. We don't know how to live. We're living in a very unnatural environment, which is full of noise, pollution, crime, and various other unnecessary things that is pushing the human psyche into a corner just to survive. We created our own hell, and now we're suffering because of it. It's called modern civilization. Now they want to replace humans with AI. You know what AI is, don't you? Everybody know what AI is? Artificial intelligence. That you don't need people to work anymore. People are becoming expendable. Now we have this artificial intelligence that can do everything. And just a few people can run that, and the rest of the people can go to hell. There's videos about this, and the people are yelling, complaining about this AI. It's like they're calling it the work of the devil. It is.
Yes, totally, Maharaj. AI is
It's a few of the anomalies going on in society. So the solution is to preach Krishna consciousness and get people to live in a more simplified lifestyle. You know, get out of these crazy cities and into a more natural lifestyle. These Western cities are just a phenomenon of the last 200 years, 250 years. It's nothing wrong to have cities, but God consciousness and cow protection have to be the foundation by which these cities operate, and not simply by some economic adventure, which squeezes people's resources and the earth also. The earth is suffering so many, and the earth is also a living organism. When we exploit the earth, then you have so many problems. You have forest fires, you have pestilence, you have shortages, you have tornadoes, hurricanes, tidal waves, and so many natural disasters come because this is the earth reacting against the sinful activity. Earth is mother. If you don't take care of your mother, she's going to slap you. Now, the earth is slapping her children because they're exploiting her in the form of this so-called economic development. And they're making more and more plans on the same level to try to improve, the quality of life by having more material opportunities for enjoying the senses. That's all. And if you study the history of life, you understand that the more people engage in sense gratification, the more the sense gratification becomes lower and lower in the modes of material nature. It becomes more degraded. It's not normal just to have regular sense gratification because it doesn't satisfy. And when that sense gratification becomes the goal of life, along with economic development, which is used to facilitate sense gratification, then you have so many problems. You have crime, you have, various types of horrible situation, wars, pestilence, so many things. So this Krishna conscious movement was a movement started by Lord Chaitanya and continued by the acharyas to bring the world back to human culture and to the purpose of life, to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotion. But it's a holistic movement. It's not just about going to a temple and worship. It's about living a lifestyle that is conducive to human development and to God consciousness. And that's what Krishna consciousness is meant to bring about. That's Srila Prabhupada's vision. All you have to do is read his books. And you'll get a lot from this 16th chapter. Stay with this chapter. This chapter is really interesting. You'll see the anomalies are shown really clearly and the solutions at the same time.
Thank you, Maharaj.
What we do now in society is we do patchwork. We get problems and we try to patch it up by creating some kind of solution to the problem, and we get more problems.
Thank you, Maharaj. Balaji Prabhu, please go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, I have a question regarding Giri brand of cows, which they take care of in India. If you go to Western countries, sometimes they do sell A2 milk, but we don't know whether how the cows are treated and how the milk is taken, whether they are from Giri cows or not. How do we understand and whether we should take that milk or not? That's
Well,
my question.
I can't tell you to stop, but I can say that what I do is I just take milk from our farms. And therefore the GBC had made a resolution in the year 2017 that by the year 2022, Janmashtami, every temple in ISKCON, this is also written in that book, Bhakti Milk, every temple in ISKCON must have a program by which we can provide milk from our farms for the deities in our temple. That's the GBC resolution. So we've made an effort to help establish that. Unfortunately, our temples have not come up to that standard yet. Some temples are doing it, some temples are trying to do it, others are not. Temples are, the way Prabhupada set up our society is that we are governed by a group of people called the Global Governing Body Commission, but each temple is also governed separately. And so they work according to how best they can manage their temples. And so we recommend that each and every temple get a farm. That was Prabhupada's statement. Every temple should have a farm where we can get our own milk and milk products, vegetables. He said, have a farm, bring vegetables, milk, and open up restaurants, and then make nice, wonderful prasadam at the restaurants, and invite people to come and taste really first-class foodstuffs in the form of prasadam, and then they will become devotees. This is Prabhupada's statement. He's given us the formula. How much we're actually doing it as a society still has a lot to be desired yet. So, but there are places that are actually doing it. Others are trying to work towards that. So we have a way to go yet. So that's ultimately what we're aiming for, is to become self-sufficient as a society, and then teach society how to live based on Brahminical culture, cow protection, and worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice questions and discussions, Prabhu. Thank you for really coming forward with all your questions. Would like to ask devotees if there's anyone else that has a question. Please do raise your hand now before we end the class. I'm just going to go down the participant list here so I don't miss anybody. I don't see any questions and hands up, so thank you all so much for raising your questions. Maharaj, would you like to end with a round of chanting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need 1 minute to get my beads.
That's fine, Maharaj, no problem. Thank you.
Just an ending statement. If you can try to get milk from our farms in America. I'm not sure how many of our temples actually are doing it. I know Gita Nagari is more or less providing milk for many temples, but it is quite expensive in order for not so much the milk, but the shipping. If you can go to the farm and buy the milk directly, you can also do that. I noticed they're also having, they're trying to keep up with the demand for milk. The many temples want milk from Gita Nagari, and other places. We're trying to establish that in New Vrindavan, and also there's Saranagati. There's also other farm communities around that are devotee run, and they take care of cows very nicely. So with a little research, you can see if you can find some place where you can get milk like that, or best if you can, just like you're living in Dallas, right? And so
Yes, Maharaj.
yeah, try to get a farm started in Dallas, and you work in that way, get some guidance from some of the senior devotees, and develop a project. There's a movie out. I haven't seen it. I've only heard about it from others. It's called the, the Biggest Little Farm. It's about a group of people in the material world who wanted to break away from society and start their own farm. And it's on YouTube. You can look it up, The Biggest Little Farm. And it's about 2 hours long, and it shows what they had to go through in order. And they, after 7 years of development, they have successfully become self-sufficient. And so, yeah, it takes some time, it takes some commitment, it takes some direction, but we have the ingredients, and our advantage is that we are worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we go in that direction, we will also receive the mercy of the Lord in order to be successful, because this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted it as our society to pull away from. I did one book called Krishna's Way. Hopefully, I'm going to be doing another version of the same book, which will include much more information on the subject. And how many statements Srila Prabhupada made is incredible in this direction. Even from the beginning, when he first started to preach in the 1960s, he was already talking about establishing farm communities. It's not like something came up, recently. It's been there since the beginning of Prabhupada's preaching in the West. Okay, so we can begin our japa. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. 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 Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. 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 Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. 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 Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, 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 Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Mm. Mm. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, 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 Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare 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 Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hari 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 Krishna Krishna Hari Hari. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare. 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda.
Thank you so much, Marsh, for a wonderful class. And again, thank you to all the devotees for really getting engaged in the question and answer and asking really powerful, a very nice discussion. And we hope that you have a wonderful day. Vanchakaptibhyascha kripasindhabhevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Chandramauli Swami ki jai. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Jai Ho, no obeisances.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.